Morning and welcome to Colin's Reading Aloud Project Part 98, another 1,000 words, starting now. FELICIAS, felicific, felicitate, felicitated, felicitates, felicitating, felicitation, felicitations, felicitator, felicitators, felicitor, felicities, felicitus, felicitously, felicitousness, felicity, felid, felids, feline, felinely, felineness, felinenesses, felines, felinities, felinity, fel, fella, fellable, fellar, fellaheen, fellahin, fellars, fellas, fellate, fellated, fellates, fellating, fellatio, fellation, fellations, fellatios, fellator, fellators, fellatrices, fellatrix, fellatrixes, felled, feller, fellers, fellist, fellies, felling, fellings, fellmonger, fellmongers, fellmongered, fellmonger, fellmongered, fellmongeries, fellmongering, fellmongerings, fellmongers, fellmongery, fellness, fellnesses, fellow, fellows, fellow, fellowed, fellowing, fellowly, fellowman, fellowmen, fellows, fellowship, fellowshipped, fellowshipping, fellowshipped, fellowshipping, fellowships, fells, fellwalker, fellwalkers, felly, felon, felonies, felonious, feloniously, feloniousness, feloniousnesses, felonous, felonries, felonry, felons, felony, felsick, felsight, felsights, felsitic, felspar, felspars, felspathic, felspathoid, felspathoids, felspathos, felstone, felstones, felt, felted, felter, feltered, feltering, felters, feltier, feltiest, felting, feltings, felt-like, felts, felty, felucha, feluchas, fellwort, fellworts, fem, femal, femal, female, femaleness, femalennesses, females, femalities, femality, females, feme, femoral, femerals, femerel, femerels, femes, femitaries, femitary, femicidal, femicide, femicides, feminacies, feminacy, feminal, feminalities, feminality, feminazi, feminazis, feminaities, feminaity, femini, feminies, feminilities, feminility, feminine, femininely, feminineness, femininenesses, feminines, femininism, femininisms, femininities, femininity, feminization, feminizations, feminize, feminized, feminizes, feminizing, feminism, feminisms, feminist, feministic, feminists, feminities, feminity, feminization, feminizations, feminize, feminized, feminizes, feminizing, femiter, femiters, fem, fam, fams, femia, femiest, femi, femoror, femora, femoral, fems, femtoseconds, femur, femurs, fen, fenagle, fenagled, fenagles, fenagling, fence, fenced, fenceless, fencelessness, fencelessnesses, fence-like, fencer, fence row, fence rows, fences, fencers, fences, fencible, fencibles, fencing, fencings, fend, fended, fender, fendered, fenderless, fenders, fendier, fendiest, fending, fens, fendi, fenestella, fenestellae, fenestellas, fenestra, fenestri, fenestral, fenestrals, fenestras, fenestrate, fenestrated, fenestration, fenestrations, fenny, feening, feenings, fennies, fenitar, fenitars, fenks, fenland, fenlands, fenman, fenmen, fennec, fennex, fennel, fennelflower, fennelflowers, fennels, fennier, fennies, fenniest, fenning, fennish, fenny, fens, fent, fentanyl, fentanyls, fentheon, fentheons, fence, fenugreek, fenugreeks, fenuron, fenurons, feod, feodal, feodories, feodory, feods, feoff, feoft, feoffi, feoffies, feoffer, feoffers, feoffing, feoffment, feoffments, feophor, feophors, feoffs, fer, feracious, feracities, feracity, feral, feralized, feralized, ferals, ferbam, ferbams, fear, fearer, fears, fearest, fereteries, ferretary, feria, ferii, ferial, ferias, ferine, ferites, ferrity, furly, furlied, furlier, furlies, furliest, furly, furlying, firm, firmata, firmators, fermate, ferment, fermentability, fermentable, fermentation, fermentations, fermentative, fermentatively, fermented, fermented, fermenter, fermenters, fermentessible, fermenting, fermentitious, fermentive, fermentor, fermentors, ferments, fermi, fermion, fermionic, fermions, fermies, fermium, fermiums, firms, fern, fernalies, fernally, fernbird, fernbirds, ferneries, fernery, fernier, ferniest, ferning, fernings, ferninst, ferniticle, ferniticles, ferniticle, ferniticles, fernless, fernlike, ferns, fernshaw, fernshawes, ferntickle, ferntickled, ferntickles, ferntickle, ferntickled, ferntickles, ferny, fernitickle, ferniticles, fernitickle, ferniticles, ferocious, ferociously, ferociousness, ferociousnesses, ferocities, ferocity, ferrandine, ferrandines, ferrate, ferrates, ferredoxin, ferredoxins, feral, feralled, feralling, feralled, feralling, ferals, ferreus, ferret, ferreted, ferreter, ferreters, ferreting, ferretings, ferrets, ferrety, ferrage, ferrages, ferric, ferricyanic, ferricyanide, ferricyanides, ferricyanogen, ferricyanogens, ferried, ferries, ferriferous, ferrimagnet, ferrimagnets, magnetic, ferrimagnetism, ferrimagnetisms, ferrimagnets, ferrite, ferrites, ferritic, ferritin, ferritins, ferrocene, ferrocenes, ferrochrome, ferrochromes, ferrochromium, ferrochromiums, ferroconcrete, ferroconcretes, ferrocyanic, ferrocyanide, ferrocyanides, ferrocyanogen, ferrocyanogens, ferroelectric, ferroelectrics, ferrogram, ferrograms, ferrographies, ferrography, ferromagnesian, ferromagnet, ferromagnetic, ferromagnetism, ferromagnetisms, ferromagnets, ferromanganese, ferromanganeses, ferromolybdenum, ferronickel, ferronickels, ferroniaire, ferroniaires, ferroniaire, ferroniaires, ferroprussiate, ferroprussiates, ferrosilicon, ferrosilicons, ferrosulfuric, ferrotype, ferrotyped, ferrotypes, ferrotyping, ferrous, ferruginous, ferruginous, ferrugo, ferrugos, ferrule, ferruled, ferrules, ferruling, ferrum, ferrums, ferry, ferryboat, ferryboats, ferrying, ferryman, ferrymen, fertigate, fertigated, fertigates, fertigating, fertigation, fertigations, fertile, fertilely, fertileness, fertilenesses, fertiler, fertilist, fertilizable, fertilization, fertilizations, fertilize, fertilized, fertilizer, fertilizers, fertilizes, fertilizing, fertilities, fertility, fertilizable, fertilization, fertilizations, fertilize, fertilized, fertilizer, fertilizers, fertilizes, fertilizing, ferrular, ferrulaceous, ferruli, ferrulars, ferrule, ferruled, ferrules, ferruling, fervencies, fervency, fervent, ferventer, ferventest, fervently, ferventness, ferventnesses, fervescent, fervid, fervider, fervidest, fervidities, fervidity, fervidly, fervidness, fervidnesses, fervor, fervorous, fervors, fervor, fervors, fees, fescennine, fescue, fescues, fess, fess, fest, fesses, fessing, fesswise, fest, fester, festal, festally, festals, festers, fester, festered, festering, festers, festier, festiest, festiliges, festiligy, festinate, festinated, festinately, festinates, festinating, festination, festinations, festival, festival goer, festival goers, festivals, festive, festively, festiveness, festivnesses, festivities, festivity, festivus, festologies, festology, festoon, festooned, festooneries, festoonery, festoons, festooning, festoons, fests, festschrift, festschriften, festschrifts, festi, fet, feta, fetal, fetas, fetters, fetation, fetations, fetch, fetched, fetcher, fetchers, fetches, fetching, fetchingly, fate, fated, feterita, feteritas, fates, fetial, fetials, fetialis, fetials, fetich, fetiches, fetiches, fetich, fetiches, fetichize, fetichized, fetichizes, fetishizing, fetishism, fetishisms, fetichist, fetichistic, fetichistic, fetichists, fetichize, fetichized, fetichizes, fetichizing, feticidal, feticide, feticides, fetid, fetidider, fetidest, fetidities, fetidity, fetidly, fetidness, fetidnesses, fating, fetiparous, fetish, fetish, fetishes, fetishization, fetishizations, fetishize, fetishized, fetishizes, fetishizing, fetishism, fetishisms, fetishist, fetishistic, fetishistically, fetishists, fetishization, fetishizations, fetishize, fetishized, fetishizes, fetishizing, fetlock, fetlocked, fetlocks, fetologies, fetologist, fetologists, fetology, fetoprotein, fetoproteins, fetol, fetors, fetoscope, fetoscopes, fetoscopies, fetoscopy, fets, fet, fetter, fetters, fetid, fetter, fettered, fetterer, fetterers, fettering, fetterless, fetterlock, fetterlocks, fetters, fetting, fettle, fettled, fettler, fettlers, fettles, fettling, fettlings, fets, fettuccini, fettuccinis, fettuccini, fettuccini, fettuccinis, fettuccini, fettuccinis, fetus, fetuses, fetoir, fetoirs, fouar, fouars, feud, feudal, feudalization, feudalizations, feudalize, feudalized, feudalizes, feudalizing, feudalism, feudalisms, feudalist, feudalistic, feudalists, feudalities, feudality, feudalization, feudalizations, feudalize, feudalized, feudalizes, feudalizing, feudally, feudaries, feudary, feudatories, feudatory, feuded, feuding, feudings, feudist, feudists, feuds, third, feuillet, feuillettes, feuilleton, feuilletonism, feuilletonisms, feuilletonist, feuilletonistic, feuilletonists, feuilletons, fewing, fewers, feutre, feutrad, feutres, feutring, fever, fevered, feverfew, feverfews, fevering, feverish, feverishly, feverishness, feverishnesses, feverless, feverous, feverously, feverroot, feverroots, fevers, feverweed, feverweeds, feverwort, feverworts, few, fewer, fewest, fewmet, fewmets, fewness, fewnesses, fuse, feuter, feutered, feutering, feuters, feutrils, fay, fade, fayer, fayest, faying, faily, fayness, faynesses, fays, fez, fezes, fezed, fezes, fezzy, fiacre, fiacres, fiancé, 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 fiancés, fiancés, fianchetti, fianchetto, fianchettoed, fianchettos, fianchettoing, fianchettos, fiar, fiars, fiacci, fiasco, fiascos, fiascos, fiat, fiated, fiating, fiats, fiaunt, fiaunts, fib, fibbed, fibber, fibberies, fibbers, fibbery, fibbing, fibre, fibreboard, fibreboards, fibred, fiberfill, fiberfills, fiberglass, fiberglassed, fiberglasses, fiberglassing, fiberization, fiberizations, fiberize, fiberized, fiberizes, fiberizing, fiberization, fiberizations, fiberize, fiberized, fiberizes, fiberizing, fiberless, fiberlike, fibers, fiberscope, fiberscopes, fibran, fibrans, fibrate, fibrates, fiber, fiberboard, fiberboards, fibered, fiberfill, fiberfills, fiberglass, fiberglasses, fiberless, fiberlike, fiberoptic, fibers, fiberscope, fiberscopes, fibriform, fibril, fibrillar, fibrilla, fibrilli, fibrillar, fibrillary, fibrillate, fibrillated, fibrillates, fibrillating, fibrillation, fibrillations, fibrilliform, fibrillin, fibrillins, fibrillos, fibrillus, fibrils, fibrin, fibrinogen, fibrinogenic, fibrinogenous, fibrinogens, fibrinoid, fibrinoids, fibrinolyses, fibrinolysins, fibrinolysis, fibrinolytic, fibrinopeptide, fibrinopeptides, fibrinous, fibrins, fibro, fibroblast, fibroblastic, fibroblasts, fibrocartilage, fibrocartilages, fibrocement, fibrocements, fibrocystic, fibrocyte, fibrocytes, fibroid, fibroids, fibroin, fibroins, fibroline, fibrolines, fibrolite, fibrolites, fibroma, fibromas, fibromata, fibromatus, fibromyalgia, fibromyalgias, fibronectin, fibronectins, fibros, fibrosarcoma, fibrosarcomas, fibrosarcomata, fibros, fibrost, fibroses, fibrosing, fibrosis, fibrositis, fibrositises, fibrotic, fibrous, fibrously, fibrousness, fibrousnesses, fibrovascular, fibs, fibster, fibsters, fibula, fibulae, fibular, fibulas, ficane, ficans, fice, fices, fiche, fiches, fichu, fichus, ficin, ficins, fickle, fickled, ficklenesses, fickleness, ficklenesses. And that's 1,000 for today. We'll stop there and I'll see you tomorrow.